Hello and welcome to another segment of Through Lynn's Lens. I am Lynn Mallory and I am super excited about today's segment because I have my very first guest ever on Through Lynn's Lens, and also he's my baby brother, Jason Amy. I asked Jason to come today and share with us his testimony about how God spoke to him at a very early age and how it prevented him from making a big mistake and it could have altered the course of his life. So I want to go ahead and get into it, and I'm going to ask Jason a couple of questions. I hope that you enjoy this segment, and I would love to hear from you in the comments below. So Jason, prior to this experience that you had that you're going to share with us today, what was your relationship with God?
At a early age, I believed in God. I believe He was real,
Okay.
but I didn't ever take it serious.
Okay. So you mean in terms of what? Taking it serious?
As in, living the real, true Christian life.
Gotcha. Okay. So in terms of your upbringing, so we came up in the same household, but I want Jason to share with you all, were you a good student, a good kid, or, a bad kid, troublesome?
I was a great kid.
Okay.
I stayed out of trouble because
Yeah, he did.
because to me I was the only son, so I tried to make sure that I didn't, I wasn't a problem child.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I'm sure Mom appreciated that. Can you tell us, I want to go ahead and jump right in. Can you tell us about that time when you knew God was real? And tell us, a couple things about, what happened leading up to that decision that you want to make. Okay?
Right. Now, I knew God was real, and like I
Right.
said, I wasn't a problem child.
Okay.
But in my course of growing up, in my late teens,
Okay.
I was in this relationship with this young lady, and one of my a guy who I know, we was actually buddies at a particular time, and I was dating this girl, and he was going back to the girl saying, I do this, I do that. I said, yeah, I say this and said that.
Mm-hmm.
And another buddy of mine, me and him, we were trying to tell her that, all those things was lies, because, she was also coming back to me, saying all this stuff.
Gotcha.
So, we tried to tell her, stop listening to the guy, but she didn't.
Okay.
So she had ended up breaking up it with me, and she started going out with him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So after all that, I was just full of rage
Mm-hmm.
and hatred for this guy. And meanwhile, while all this was going on, she would continue to kind of call me and tell me what was going on with them, because they started having problems. So with the since I already had hatred, and by her calling me and telling me all this stuff, what was going on, it was just building up. It was just building up.
Okay.
So I started plotting on killing this guy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
it pushed you to that point you felt that you just need to just eliminate him totally.
Right.
Okay.
And so.
But that seems out of character for you. So what do you think, based on you telling us that you were, a good kid, good upbringing, what about that do you feel made you want to go from that point of never getting in trouble to like, boom, I want to just, kill?
I think we just hatred.
The hatred,
Yeah,
okay.
it was just
So the
hatred.
emotion behind it.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so I called up one of my buddies, and which he didn't like the guy either. So
that was just adding more fuel to the fire.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So we had got everything, and plotted everything. But the thing about it, I was the brain of everything.
You told us you were enraged with the fact that y'all's relationship got broken up and that she was having problems with the guy, right? And then you told us that you were the brain behind it and you had it all planned out. So what was it that happened that prevented you from going through with your plan?
Well, while me and the guy was talking on plotting and everything,
Okay.
that you had ended up calling, beeping through.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him, okay.
Back in the days when there was call waiting, home phones, people clicking over. That's what he's talking about.
So I clicked over, and he was like, Jade, you okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah. Why do you say that? And he was like, that I just had a dream about you and another guy that y'all was running, and y'all got caught by the police, and y'all went to jail for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? And I was like, well, no, there's nothing going on. And so in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could just see, all that going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, you know what, can't do this. But I didn't tell you that.
Right.
So I just played it off cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, sister, there's nothing going on. I'm okay. So so I clicked back over, and I told my buddy, I was like, hey, man, scratch it off. I told him what you said, and he was like, oh, yeah. I'm glad that she called and, told us
Right.
that.
So right in that time y'all were talking about it, then you had that intercepted call.
Yeah, at the same time.
At the same time. Wow.
At the same time. So once that happened, I knew then, I'm like, there's got to be a God. Like.
So that was the thing that convinced you not to go through with it.
Right.
So, one thing I want to just interject right there is, when Jason originally told me this, I did not remember this at all. I don't even remember calling him. At the time, I had already moved out. I had gotten married. And so he said I called, and I have no recollection of this conversation. Like, even now, as he's telling me, it's not bringing any, it's not coming back to my remembrance at all. So it makes me feel like that God, had me do that supernaturally, or he may have given me that dream supernaturally. And, if I did call Jason, my other theory about it is, what if it was an angel that God had called in with my voice, and he felt like, he knew that Jason would listen to my voice. And so, just between those two things, God was in the midst of it. That's what I'm saying. God was in the middle of it. Whether he, he led me to call because I don't remember it, or if it was a supernatural presence that called with my voice. So I just thank God. Either way, however it goes, we know that God, he was definitely in control. He was definitely in the midst on Jason's behalf. And so, Jason, share with us, how would your life be different if you would have, fallen, through and just went ahead with those plans? What would be some of the things that you would have missed out on? Because potentially, what we know, if you do something negative or bad, most of the times it's going to be a bad consequence. He could have got murdered himself, or, been in prison right now. So tell us, Jason, what were some of the things that you would have missed out on?
Well, I would have missed out on. I'm married now. I have 3 beautiful girls.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I would have missed out on my nephews, on my niece. I mime dance now. I go to different places and mime dance.
Right.
And the crazy thing about it, that at that same time, while we was plotting it, that that the buddy of mine, he was telling me that he has 2 guns, and one gun was like messed up, and then the other gun that had 2 bodies on it. And at that time, I was just so filled up, it was rage that I didn't even care.
So what does it mean? I don't know if you all know, but I'm not familiar with bodies on it.
Bodies mean that it already killed 2 people. So I would have been charged for the murder that I did, and for the other 2.
Oh wow! Okay.
So if they would have found found the weapon, but as you said in that dream that we got caught, so I'm pretty sure I would have been charged for all 3.
So you would have been probably gone for a long time, even for what you did.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they would have, I'm pretty sure they would have said, well, we don't know that it's your gun, and, but we know that you shot this gun, and it got my fingerprints and all.
Right. So, what did this overall experience show you about God? Because you said you were 17 at the time, so you were still a teenager, young person. What did that experience from that point on, even to this day, what does it show or what does it do for you in terms of your connection and relationship with God?
It shows me that God is amazing. He uses people,
Right.
and he's that he actually speaks through people,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just a great God.
Yes. Amen. Amen. So, do you have any last words that you want to share with the viewers today?
I'm sorry. I just want to say forgive. Make sure that you forgive. Anybody. I mean, everybody. Anybody who does anything wrong, who says anything negative to you, who drives or pull off in front of you,
Right.
While
Yeah.
you're driving.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure that you have a forgiving heart because
Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
I agree.
And another thing was funny that years after that,
Okay.
that the guy actually started working with me at one of my previous jobs.
So how did that go?
It was awkward, but I started laughing because I knew what direction this was going. So I said, "Okay, God, I got it." So we was talking with small words, whatever. And
So you did communicate with him? Okay.
And so it was awkward, but I knew that I had a forgiving heart towards the guy.
Good.
But so after that, weeks went by, and one of his homeboys came up to me. He was like, "Hey man, he told me about what happened years ago," and I was like, "What he did?" And he's like, "Man, yeah, that was real messed up." And so while he was telling me, I'm like, "Really?" And I kind of started getting a little mad, but as I kept thinking about it, I'm like, wow, this is how the enemy works.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to come in, different ways of trying to get,
Right.
try to stir things up.
Exactly.
And so while he was saying it, I said, okay. And I was like, yeah, all that happened, but it is what it is.
Right.
And so as soon as he said that, I knew then for sure that,
Yeah.
I was done with the situation. Had a forgiving heart towards the guy, and I was like,
That's
man,
good.
thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. Praise God. Yeah. So, again, I just want to thank you, Jason, for having the boldness to share that wonderful, awesome testimony with us on today. And my prayer is that you all out there who are viewing this, that it touched your heart, or you could relate to something that Jason shared with us today. And I just think it's just awesome to just share with others about how the true living God, he still speaks to us today. It's not just in the Bible, way back in the Bible days. He can still speak to us here in the 21st century. We just have to be open and willing to not only hear from him, but also obey what he's telling us. And so until next time, until the next Through Lens video, I hope that you have an awesome, blessed day. Again, I'm Lynn Mallory, and I will see you next time.